guys, welcome. It's 5:15 and it's ready for us. It's time for us to get started with Fresh Start this evening. So as we get started with our practice today, we did have the request for a little bit of shoulder work, so we will incorporate that into our class today. Other than that, you may just wish to have the props that you normally have for any practice. Specifically to start off with, maybe a blanket or a pillow for underneath the sits bones, because we are going to start seated and move through some seated postures. And just as we start, you might want to allow the hips a moment to warm up with that extra lift. Okay, so as you're ready, let's go ahead and get started seated on the mat, and welcome to practice. Seated, cross-legged, half lotus, full lotus, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Again, maybe grabbing that pillow or that blanket to prop the sits bones up, tilting that tailbone up and back, giving the pelvis a slight anterior tilt. Sitting up nice and tall, lifting the crown of the head skyward. Allow the hands to rest palm face down, palm face up, maybe a combination of both in the lap. Let's close down the eyes. Settling into our bodies here as we create this space for ourselves on the mat. And let's begin today with a scan of the body, starting from the crown of the head, allowing yourself to scan all the way down the back of the neck, the shoulders, down the lengths of the arms, through the sides of the body, along the spine, into the hip structure, and down the legs all the way to the soles of the feet. And just noticing what's happening in your body today. And with the eyes closed, we're going to come into some movement with our breath. So as you inhale, draw the hands to the fronts of the knees, lift the heart forward. Imagine drawing your gaze up even though the eyes are still closed. And as you exhale, a gentle cat back, rounding the spine, reaching the crown of the head forward. Inhale, rising up just nice and gentle, coming into your seated cow. And exhale, round it out. Taking the time here to focus on how it feels, since we can't see what's happening in the body. Focus on the sensations. Keep moving back and forth, deep inhales as you rise up. And complete exhales as you round it out. 2 more. In and out. Last one, in and out. Coming back to a nice tall seat. And now taking a moment again to scan the body, noticing how it feels differently from the first time. And let's bring the hands to heart center, setting our intention for practice today. And slowly fluttering the eyes open, bringing the hands down by your sides, just touching the fingertips gently on the mat. As you inhale, sweep that right arm across the body. That left arm comes up to hook the right. As you pull the arm in towards yourself, allow that right shoulder to settle down. So try to avoid that right shoulder creeping up by the ear. Allow it to settle down the back. That right palm is facing towards the back of your mat. Starting with a gentle warm up for the shoulders. And then slowly releasing. Hands come back by your sides. And then we'll inhale, sweep that left arm across the body, right arm hooks. And again, take a moment as you cross the arm over the body to settle that left shoulder down. Keep an active pull of the arm in towards you with that right arm. And then slowly releasing, hands come back by your sides. Begin to roll the shoulders up by the ears and down the back. And then reverse. Coming back to stillness, finding a nice tall seat. Let's start to lean over towards the left. Allow the left fingertips to just glide towards the top of the mat. Nice and long through both sides of the body for now. Right arm sweeps up by the ear. Keeping this length through the right side body and through the left, take a moment to press that right hip down. Inhale. And then as you exhale, if you want to go deeper, arc through the left side body, reaching the right ribs towards the sky, maybe coming down onto that left forearm. Keep rooting through the right hip, pushing it down into the mat as you reach through the right fingertips. Inhale, rising all the way back up to center. You're gonna have to move. Right hand comes down. Allow the right fingertips to glide towards the side of your mat, keeping length through both sides of the body for now, and then that left arm sweeps up by the ear. Keep that nice diagonal line of energy. Root through the left hip. And as we inhale, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, choose if you want to stay here or if you want to bring that right forearm down to the mat, curving, taking the C curve through the side body, lifting the left ribs towards the sky. Left fingertips remain nice and active, reaching, stretching. And then inhale draws you all the way back up to center. From here, let's take those legs nice and wide, coming into a nice wide seat, wide V. Again, this would be a great opportunity to grab that blanket or a pillow to prop the sits bones up and back, giving yourself a little bit of a tilt forward. Let's go ahead and point the left toes. Flex through the right foot, maybe even enough to lift that right heel up off the mat. Engaging that right quadricep. Keep pointing through the left, flexing through the right. And then slowly allow the right heel to settle down. Maybe you lengthen the leg a little bit. This time, we'll point through the right, flex the left toes towards the face, maybe even giving that heel a little bit of air time. Firming the thigh down into the mat. And then slowly release. Again, maybe you're able to inch the heels just a little bit further away from the midline of the body. As you inhale, create a nice long spine, draw the shoulders back. As you exhale, begin to lean yourself forward, hinging from the hips, coming into a wide forward fold. Keep flexing those toes back towards the hips, nice and long through the spine. Keep the collarbones broad. And as you begin to settle in here, maybe you're able to almost pick the hips up and lift them up and back. Lift the heart forward and fold a little deeper. If you're able to give yourself a little bit more depth, go ahead and walk those arms, maybe another handprint away from you. And then slowly walking the hands back and towards the body. We'll bring the legs together in front. I'm going to turn back towards the top of my mat so you can see this from the side. Sitting up nice and tall in our staff pose, let's sweep that right leg around, coming into a half hero. So instead of having that right foot wide, try to tuck it in so it's almost underneath the glute. Try to even out the hips here. Left toes flexing towards the face. And then we're going to begin to lean back. Maybe that's leaning back onto the hands. Or maybe you lean back all the way down onto the forearms. There we go. From here, let's make it nice and active. So rooting through the left heel, let's pick the hips up slightly. Keep reaching the right knee down towards the earth. Feeling a nice active stretch here on the front side of the right quadricep. Much more active stretch than if we were to just lean back in this pose. Try to keep the hips squared. Lift the heart skyward. And then slowly releasing hips down to the mat. And then if you made it down to the forearms, walking back up onto the hands. Releasing the leg, extending that right leg long in front. And then switching sides. Left leg, bend into the knee, sweep the heel, sweep the foot back towards the glute. Find a nice even seat here. And then slowly leaning back, maybe onto the hands, maybe down to the forearms. This is a good stretch for the quad already. If you want to intensify and activate it, again, let's root through that right heel, pick the hips up, and send that left knee down towards the mat. Try to draw the shoulders together on the back. Two more breaths. And then slowly release it down, taking a moment here, and then pressing back up, coming to a nice tall seat. Both legs extend long in front. Let's inhale, arms up overhead. And as you exhale, find that forward fold. Try to reach the rib cage towards the tops of the thighs. Reach the crown of the head towards the top of your mat. Keep those toes nice and active, pulling them back towards the face. One more deep breath in. Send the breath to the low back. And then exhale, fold a little deeper. Inhale, rising all the way back up to seated. Draw the right leg in with you. And we're going to cross that right leg over the left, coming into our half Lord of the Fishes pose. The left toes stay flexing towards the face. Draw the rib cage towards that right thigh. We're going to reach up through that right arm. And as you exhale, settle it towards the back of your mat. Hugging the knee in with the left hand or hooking the left elbow outside of the knee. And here, as you twist, keeping that nice long spine, take the gaze towards the back of your mat and see if you can draw the chin towards the shoulder. Finding a little bit of a stretch here through the neck, through the upper parts of the shoulder. Draw that belly button in. And then slowly unwind and twist. Uncross the legs and we'll move to the other side. Drawing left knee in, cross it over the right. And again, hugging left thigh in. You can use that right hand, or if you already know you want to go for the elbow hook, go there. We'll sweep that left arm towards the back of the mat. Find that nice tall seat wherever you're at. Allow the right fingertips to act as a second spine here. And as you twist, take the gaze towards the back of your mat. And again, tilting the chin down towards the shoulder. See if you can sit up a little taller. Inhale and exhale. Slowly unwinding and twisting. We'll uncross the legs, bring the feet down, knees up. Hands plant behind you, fingertips either facing in towards the body, or if it's more comfortable, fingertips facing towards the edges of your mat. As you inhale, we'll lift the hips coming into our reverse table. See if you can lift the hips up so that they're in line with the knees, and then see if you can lift the hips and the knees up so that they're in line with the shoulders. Maybe you stay here in stillness, or maybe you find a gentle rock, front to back. And then we'll come back to stillness, pick the hips up a little bit more. And then slowly returning back to the mat. Give yourself a nice big hug around into the upper back and shoulders. And then as you release, let's sweep the legs around, coming to hands and knees, tabletop pose. Setting it up, fingers spread nice and wide, shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Take the gaze back in between the knees, making sure you can't see the toes. If they're pointing in, go ahead and draw them back so they're behind the knees. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, round it out. Spread the shoulder blades towards the sky. Inhale, dropping belly, gazing forward. And exhale, round it out. Keep moving back and forth with your own breath. Maybe you come back to that closed eye that we started practice with in our cats and cows, and just check in here and see how it feels. Instead of focusing on how it looks, focus on how it feels. Nice. After your next round, coming back to a nice neutral spine, hands and knees. And we'll find some barrel rolls here. So coming into that cow pose, drop the belly down, and then sweep the ribs over to the right. Arc the shoulders in the back towards the sky as you sweep to the left, around in a circular motion. Trying to get into all of those nooks and crannies that we sometimes miss with our cats and cows. And let's pause and reverse, opposite direction. One more. And then returning back to hands and knees. From here, we're going to shift the heart forward slightly and begin to lower heart down to the earth. Keep the hips up nice and high. Keep them stacked over the knees if you can. Bringing the heart down. Maybe the forehead comes down, maybe the chin comes down to the earth. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Hands still pressing actively into the mat. Imagine drawing the shoulders towards the hips as you continue to lift the hips skyward. Option here to release the arms down by your sides, or keep them where they are. Keep sending the hips up and back. And if you move the hands, go ahead and bring the back of the ribs. Press down into the hands. Press the heart into the earth as you tuck the toes under. Extend the legs. Slowly allow the toes to slide to the back of the mat, coming all the way down onto the belly. Bringing those fingertips out wide, tensing them on the mat. Forehead comes to the mat. As you inhale, draw the shoulders up towards the sky, pull the forehead away from the mat, rolling up like a wave, coming into your high cobra. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, lifting, pull yourself away from the mat. And exhale, slowly wave it back down. One more, in. And out. Nice. From here, let's cactus that left arm, bringing the palm face down to the mat, shoulder in line with the elbow, and elbow in line with the wrist. From here, we're going to peel that right hip open and tap the right toes behind the left leg. Maybe they come to the mat, maybe to a block. Allow that left cheek to settle down to the mat or to a block. Putting a little shoulder stretch here through the left side. One more breath. See if you can open up the heart up towards the right side of your mat a little bit more. And then slowly releasing, coming back down to the belly. Bend the left knee and sweep that left arm back for the foot or the ankle. That right hand will stay on the mat. As you push yourself away, kick the foot towards the back of your mat, coming into a half bow pose. So that right arm's helping you lift up here, gazing forward. Kick the foot away, but also pull it up towards the sky. Both legs nice and engaged. Keep pointing those right toes back. Lift the base of the ribcage forward. And then exhale, slowly lower down. Releasing everything back to the mat. And we'll switch sides. Cactusing that right arm. Bring it out to the side of your mat. And as you're ready, tend the left fingertips, opening up through the left hip. Allow the left toes to plant to the mat. Right cheek comes down to the earth or to a pillow, maybe to a block. Try to allow the lower half of the body to settle a little bit here. And slowly making your way back to the belly and bending into that right knee, sweeping the right hand back for the foot or the ankle. Use that left hand for support as you lift yourself up. Kick the foot into the hand. Lift the toes towards the sky. Firm the inner thighs together. Continue to draw that right shoulder away from the ear. Send the hip points into the mat. One more breath. And then slowly lower it down. Release the foot. Maybe making a pillow with your hands. And taking your gaze off to one side of the mat. As you're ready, let's bend into both legs. And reach back for the feet or the ankles. Pause here. Allow the forehead to return to the mat. And then finding that energy as you inhale, lifting the forehead up, lifting those toes up towards the sky, pushing them towards the back of the mat. Try to engage the glutes to lift the thighs away from the mat a little bit more. Coming up high on the hip points. And then slowly releasing down, let go of the legs. Create a pillow with the arms. Take the gaze in the opposite direction. And go ahead and bend the knees, windshield wiper the legs if that feels nice. And then making your way back to center walking the legs together. Let's go ahead and bring the hands by the ribs, pressing ourselves up through the table. And then back to child's pose for a brief moment. As you're ready, inhale, lift the gaze. Keep yourself nice and low. Drag your heart across the earth, lifting up into your cobra. And let's tuck the toes, lift the hips, coming into downward facing dog. Begin to find movement here, bending into one leg and then the other. Finding any of those other movements help you awaken the back side of the body. And as you're ready, finding stillness and center, pressing the fingertips down and forward. Wrap the triceps underneath the body. Lift the tailbone up and back. And spiral those inner thighs towards the back of your mat. As you inhale, rise up onto the toes. Exhale, allow the heels to fall over to the left side of the mat. Soften the knees, but keep the hips up nice and high. Finding a nice stretch through the right side of the body. Weight remains even through both hands. Inhale up to center, up on the toes. Exhale, heels over to the right. Again, soften the knees, but keep the hips up high. Send them up and back. Lengthen through the left side body. Try to draw the base of the ribcage towards the thighs. Inhale, rising up through center. And exhale, let's step it forward all the way to the top of the mat. Coming into our forward fold. As you inhale, halfway lift. Feel those hamstrings. As you exhale, forward fold. Maybe soften into the knees. Grab opposite elbows to picture frame the face. Hang in your ragdoll. Maybe shake the head yes and no. Releasing the tension. Allow it to fall out of the crown of the head. Possibly a sway from side to side. And as you're ready, coming back to stillness and center, release the hands to the earth. One more time, inhaling, halfway lift. And exhale, let it go. Earth to sky, rising all the way up to standing on the inhale. And exhale, thumbs, heart center. Inhale, circle sweep. And exhale, let's hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, bring the hands down. Step that left foot all the way back, slowly with control. Lower down onto the left knee. And let's rise up on Janayasana, nice low lunge here. So let's work to stack the hips over that left knee for now. Feeling some tension in the front side of the quadricep. Inhale, arms up overhead. So not sinking down and forward just yet, we'll get there. Interlace the thumbs overhead so that you can pull the arms towards the back of your mat. Lift the heart forward. Nice and tall through the upper body here. As you exhale, sink it down and forward. Draw that right hip back. Feel a nice stretch on the left hip flexor. Keep drawing the arms towards the back of your mat. Lift up on those front toes, give them a little wiggle. Exhale, allow the hands to come down by your side like kickstands. Keep those back toes tucked and lift the back knee up. Keep the knee bent and draw the shoulders over the hips. So really pulling that left quadricep forward. Still nice and tall here through the upper body. Legs are probably shaking. control at the same time. Begin to extend the leg as you lift the arms up overhead. Crescent lunge. Inhale. And exhale, settle. One more breath, see if you can lift that back knee a little bit more. And exhale, hands slowly come down to the mat. Plant the hands, lift the right leg up and back, three-legged dog. We'll bend the knees, stack the hips, open up. So working to find some openness through the right hip. Keep the weight even through the hands. Working to separate the right shoulder from the right hip. Lift the right knee higher. Send the left heel down. Exhale, step it all the way back to the top of the mat. Rising up, crescent lunge. Back leg straight this time. And then we'll take that left hand, bend the left elbow, reaching the left hand for the middle of the back. Right hand comes to support the left elbow. So coming into supported cow face arms. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to bend over towards the right side of our mat. Really feel that left hip flexor. Feel the psoas. Lift that back knee up even more. One more breath in. Send the left ribs towards the left side of your mat. Inhale back to center. Reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step it forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, let it go. Earth to sky all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle sweep, preparing for the other side. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands slowly with control. As if you were moving through water, step that right foot back. Bring the right knee down. And again, coming up to a low lunge where your hips are stacked over the right knee. So kind of shifting the weight back more than we normally would. Let's reach those arms up. And hook the thumbs, possibly in the other direction this time. Draw the arms towards the back of your mat. Lift the heart. Still reaching up nice and tall. Shoulders over the hips, over that right knee. Keep drawing the hands towards the back of your mat. And then exhale, settle in. If you need to walk the front toes forward a little bit to make sure that the knee is not passing the ankle, please do. Keeping that lift through the upper body, but now adding in that stretch on the front side of the right leg. Keep lifting up and sending the hips forward. Exhale, slowly releasing hands down by your side, leg kickstands. We're going to keep those back toes tucked. Lift the back knee to hover, so back knee still bent. You might start to lean forward. That's usually the tendency. Draw the shoulders back over the hip. Nice and tall through the upper body. Draw the front of the thigh forward. Allow the shoulders to settle down the back. And at the same time, as you inhale, extending back leg, reach the arms up. Settle in, crescent lunge. Draw that left hip forward, or left hip back, right hip forward. Keep that nice long spine. Inhale. Exhale, settle. Inhale. Exhale, hands down to the mat. We'll lift that left leg up and back, three-legged dog. And bend the knee, stack the hips, open up. And working to even out the weight through the hands, opening through the hips instead of through that left shoulder. Spiral the left shoulder down. Lift the knee skyward. Draw the heel in towards the glute. Slowly, let's step it all the way back to the top of the mat. Preparing to rise up, crescent lunge. This time we're bending into the right arm, bringing the right hand to the middle of the back, left hand supports. Standing up nice and tall. Inhale, find that lift through the upper body. As you exhale, begin to side bend over towards the left side of your mat. Feeling the stretch all the way from that right elbow down through the front side of the right hip. Feel it even deeper, lift that back knee more. Keep the tailbone tucked, so we're not taking a back bend here. We're just taking a side bend. Inhale, rising back up through center. Reach the arms skyward. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step it forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, let it go. Grabbing onto the big toes with the peace fingers. If you need to bend the knees, feel free. Try to draw the crown of the head towards the tops of the feet as you allow the elbows to reach towards the sides of your mat. Maybe you bend one leg and extend the other. Maybe you're at the place in your practice where you work towards full extension, lifting the sits bones up and back. Slowly releasing the big toes. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhale, hold. Earth to sky, rising all the way up to standing. When you reach the top, interlace the fingers, flip the palms. Begin to soften the knees, sink into your chair. Draw the shins towards the back of your mat. Lift the heart forward. Inhale. Exhale, side bend over towards the left side of your mat. So curl the left hip and shoulder towards one another. Stretch through the right ribs. Inhale, center. Exhale, curling to the right. Right hip and shoulder curl towards one another. Inhale, center. Root to rise, maybe a back bend. And exhale, release the fingers, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back. High plank. Maybe you go through your first flow of the practice, or skip it. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, let's reach that left leg up and back. Bend the knees, stack the hips, open up. Square the shoulders, weight even in both hands. Send that right heel towards the earth. Exhale, step it all the way through. Back foot spins down all the way. Rise up, warrior two. So opening up those thighs, spiral the right thigh back. Spiral that left thigh open so you can see the left big toe. Settle into the front knee bend. Work to open the collarbones towards the right edge of your mat. Inhale, flip that front palm, reverse. Let's just reach that left arm up for now. And then slowly, just like we did at the beginning of practice, start to send the right ribs and the left ribs forward towards the top of your mat. Inhale, extend that front leg so you parallel the feet. Exhale, take a nice wide-legged fold. Try to reach the crown of the head down towards the earth as you lift the sits bones towards the sky. Weights even through the whole foot. And if your head easily reaches the mat, maybe you challenge yourself by walking the feet together a little bit more. Finding a nice active stretch here. Walk the hands back underneath the face, inhaling halfway lift. Let's pivot those left toes back towards the top of the mat. Opening up side angle. Reach the right arm up by the ear. Open that right shoulder towards the sky. Shift some of the weight into that back leg. One more breath here. And then exhale, cartwheel both hands down inside that left foot. Again, we'll take ourselves to face the right side of the mat. Keep the bend in that left knee. So a deep side lunge here, not quite skandasana though. We want the hips about in line with the shoulders. From here, keep pressing the left hip forward as you walk the hands back towards that right leg. Take a nice side body stretch here. Keep lifting the hips up and back. Deep bend in the left knee. Feeling a nice stretch through the back side of the left shoulder. One more breath. Slowly pick the gaze up towards the back of your mat. Turn all 10 toes to face the back of the mat, finding runner's lunge. From here, that left hand stays planted. We're going to pick that right foot up and step it behind the left leg, coming into our wild thing. Lift the hips skyward. Take your back bend. Feel a nice stretch on the front side of the body. Slowly finding yourself in plank towards the back of the mat. Center yourself here. Go through a flow or skip it. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. We'll inhale, right leg up and back. Bend the knees, stack the hips, open up. Even out the weight through the hands. Press the rib cage towards the thigh. Exhale, step it all the way through. Back foot spins down all the way. Rise up, warrior two towards the back of the mat. Again, taking a moment here, stacking shoulders over the hips, opening up through that right inner thigh, collarbones broadening. Engage that back leg, lift up on the kneecap, put some of the weight back there. Settle into the knee bend a little bit more. And then we'll slowly reach that right arm up towards the sky, starting to reverse our warrior, just reaching and lifting for now. Then sending the ribs towards that right thigh. Nice side body stretch. We're going to skip the wide-legged fold on this side and just come right into our side angle. So that right arm reaches down, maybe it reaches the mat, maybe it hovers. That left arm sweeps up by the ear. Wrap the tricep down so the palms facing the earth. Tuck the hips underneath the body. One more breath in and out. Exhale, both hands down inside that right foot. Take yourself to face the right side of the mat. Parallel the feet. Keep the deep bend in that right knee. And then begin to walk the hands, walk the upper body towards the extended left leg. Grab onto whatever you can so that you can feel that nice deep stretch through the lat on the right side. One more breath. Slowly releasing whatever you have a hold of. Walk yourself back to the top of the mat, finding runner's lunge. We'll plant that right hand and then sweep that left leg over the right, opening up into our wild thing. Spiral the heart towards the sky as you press into the back leg, nice and strong. One more breath. And then slowly making your way back to center. Shift it forward, lower down, or skip it, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up and back. Bend the knees, stack the hips, open up. Exhale, we'll step it through. And this time, rise up, warrior two. Again, back foot spins down all the way. Coming right into our eagle arms though. So grabbing opposite shoulders with the right arm on top, or full eagle arms, right arm on top. Push the forearms away from the face. And as you settle into the legs here, this is our inhale, facing the left side of your mat. As you exhale, turn the upper body to face the top of the mat. Draw the right hip back. Inhale back. Exhale, turn. Inhale, coming back to the left. Exhale, turn to the top. Slowly come up onto the toes of the back foot. Left knee comes up into the chest. Find your stork. And then cross left leg over the right. Find your eagle pose. Sink into it. Find your balance. Slowly unwind that top leg. Almost circle it out towards the left side of your mat, and then around behind the right leg, coming into your curtsy lunge. Left toes come off to the right side of the mat. Inhale, circle sweep the arms, reach them up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Step it forward, come to your mountain pose. Inhale, circle sweep. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back. And go through your flow, or simply meet in downward facing dog. And that left leg will reach up and back. One final flow on this side. Bend the knees, stack the hips. Exhale, step it through. Find your warrior two. So you rise up. This time, left arm comes on top in your eagle arms. Draw the triceps away from the mat, forearms away from the face. So first, let's start by finding that rotation through the upper body. This is our inhale. Exhale, twist towards the top of the mat, draw the left hip back, push the right hip forward, open up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, open. This time as we twist, come up onto the toes of the back foot, and then allow the toes to drag across the mat so that you can draw the knee into the chest. Slowly sweep right leg over the left entirely and sink into your eagle pose. Find the balance. One more breath. As you lift up, lift that right leg out to the side, circle it around, and then sweep it off to the left side of your mat. Bend both knees, find your curtsy lunge. Slowly release the arms. Inhale, circle sweep. Exhale, thumbs to heart center. Slowly stepping forward, mountain pose. Begin to Pac-Man the feet apart, heel toeing them, so that the toes are out, heels in. Inhale, circle sweep. Exhale, bringing the hands to the low back, palms face out. From here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna bend the knees, sink the hips, If you need to come down to a block for your yogi squat, please do. And then we're gonna hook the right elbow inside the right thigh. And then the left elbow inside the left thigh. So maybe the fingertips are just still touching here. This is a really intense shoulder stretch, so you might need to do this in one arm at a time. But essentially, we're using the tightness of the inner thighs to help us open up the shoulders. This is killer. We won't stay here for too long. And if it ever becomes too much, please, please, please come out. And just like we came in one arm at a time, unhook one, and then the other, slowly reaching the arms towards the top of the mat. And let's just go ahead and plop it down. Maybe give those arms a little shake, maybe a little roll of the shoulders, whatever you need to work that out. All right. Then we'll come up to a nice tall seat on our mat. We're going to draw the sole of the right foot to the left inner thigh, coming into a seated figure four. We're going to pick ourselves up to face that right knee, and we're going to side bend over towards the left leg. So a couple of options you have here: reaching through the right arm, lift it up towards the sky, and allow the left fingertips to sweep towards the sole of the foot. Trying to spiral those right ribs towards the sky. If you struggle to get anywhere near your foot in this pose, no big deal. Let's go ahead and bring the hands to heart center, making a fist with the left hand, and then just a flat hand with the right, so that you can use this tension to push the left elbow down into the mat to help you open up. I promise if you're doing it this way, you're getting just as much of a stretch as someone who's reaching for their toes. Two more breaths. Slowly, let's allow that right arm to lead us up. And the right fingertips will plant behind us, facing the back of the mat, lifting the hips up, coming into a modified wild thing. Reach that left arm towards the back of your mat as you charge the hips forward. And then exhale, settling down to the mat. And we'll switch sides. Extend that right leg long. Draw the sole of the left foot to the right inner thigh. Pick yourself up so that you're able to face that left knee. And then again, maybe you start with the left arm up and then begin to lean towards the top of the mat. Hands go where you need them. They can actively reach for the sole of the right foot, or maybe again you bring the hands heart centered, creating a fist with the right hand, and just keeping the left hand nice and open. Using this energy to press yourself away from the mat and spiral the left ribs towards the sky. Slowing down the breath. Taking two more here. And then slowly allow that left arm to lead you back up. Left hand plants towards the back of the mat. Lift the hips up, coming into a modified wild thing. Feel the nice front body stretch. And then slowly returning hips to the mat, bringing yourself all the way back to the front of the mat. Feet down, knees up. Let's plant the hands behind us, fingertips facing towards the body. And from here, we're going to bend the elbows slightly. Lift the heart forward so you're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Imagining that you're holding a pencil in between them. Keep the shoulders together, draw those elbows in, and then slowly lower the elbows down to hover, and then push it back up. Lower to hover, and lift. 3 more. Lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. So keeping the shoulders together. Let's draw the arms towards the top of the mat and slowly lower down onto the back. So we're already prepared with our shoulders underneath the body. Maybe you flip those palms towards the sky as we lift the feet skyward, coming into our legs up the wall. If you'd like to add a block underneath the sacrum, feel free. Maybe you point and flex the feet. And then slowly bending the knees, bringing the feet down to the mat. Setting up for our spinal twist, so allow you to choose today. Taking whatever twist you feel best completes your practice. And we'll cross that right leg over the left, or allow the knees to fall over to the left side of your mat. Try to really sink in, allowing the legs to release here. Allow that right shoulder to settle to something. Releasing any tension that you're holding in the lower half of the body. And slowly making your way back to center. Uncrossing the legs, recenter the hips. And then try to mirror whatever you did on the previous side as we move over to the right. Again, trying to find some softness here. Each time you take a breath out, see if there's a new space that you can let go of. Let's make our way back to center, uncrossing the legs, recentering the hips, and extending the legs long in front. Allow the inner thighs to open towards the sky as your arms come down by your sides, palms face up. Or maybe you invite that right hand to the low belly and the left hand to the heart. Closing down the eyes and arriving here and now in Shavasana. choosing to extend your rest or beginning to find movement in the body. Wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles. Inviting any other movements that feel good to the party. When the time feels right, hugging knees into the chest. And rolling over to one side. As you're ready, making your way up to seated on the mat. Let's try to cross the legs in the opposite direction of when we started practice. Bringing hands down by our sides. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up overhead. As you exhale, press the breath out and away. Inhale, rising up, reaching up. And exhale, let it go. One more deep breath in from earth to sky. Breathing in the energy and vitality we've created. And drawing it home to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Taking this energy out into the world and sharing it with everyone we meet. Honoring the light inside and teacher in us all. From my heart to yours. Namaste. Well, thank you all for joining me today. I hope that was the right balance of stretch and strength for you. And remember, if you are continuing to watch this live, we are at 5:15 now. So I will see you next time. Thanks for joining, guys. Bye.